Okay, we'll get started and welcome everyone to our first council meeting in our new Village Hub, a momentous event. Okay, we'll get started for a regular council meeting for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. It's currently 7 o'clock. The Village of Anmore would like to open our meeting by recognizing the many Indigenous peoples of our area, including the following First Nations, with communities that are located in the region that we now know as Metro Vancouver: Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Coquitlam. Further, we'd like to honor the important place in history occupied by the many territorial keepers of these lands and waters around us since time immemorial. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have Councillor Trowbridge zooming in, and Councillor Cryer is not with us tonight. So approval of the agenda. Could I get one to approve the agenda? Moved. Seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. We're now on to public input. Public is encouraged. Anybody wants to make any comments regarding anything on the agenda? If you could just put your name and address, please.
Greg Moore, Anmore South. I would like to make some comments regarding item 12 on your agenda tonight, which is...
Is that agenda, is that mic on? Is there blue?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Regarding item 12 on your agenda tonight, which is the direction from the workshop. I wanted to just clarify a couple things that were questioned at the workshop that might not have been clear in some of the answers before you go through this. So there was a comment about the community contribution only being about $750,000, and for a $3 billion project, that doesn't seem enough. Well, I wanted to clarify that. The community contribution will be significant. There will be Metro water, Metro sewer be brought to the site. There will be a community center built. There will be trails built. We're saying that about 48% of the site will not be developed. It is our intention that a majority of that land will actually be donated to the village so that it is ensured that it is protected into the future and it's not privately owned. That in itself, just those things alone are well over $100 million of contribution that will go to the city. The comment about $700,000 actually related to one of the reports that we did in the study around property tax. We did a full property tax analysis, and out of that analysis, it showed that if we used comparisons in Port Moody, because there are no apartments and no townhouses in Anmore, we had to use something in comparison. The bottom line is, when you look at the increase in the budget, you look at the contribution from the property tax when this development, if it was approved, was fully built out, it would be about a $700,000 positive cash flow to the city, or to the village every year. And the last thing I wanted to clarify was around traffic. There was a comment that our study said that Ioko Road could only handle 100 more cars. Well, that's not accurate. It wasn't our studies. That was a study that was done by Port Moody when they were looking at multiple road options. Our studies are looking at Anmore South, Anmore, they're looking at transportation demand management, they're looking at a people-first strategy so that we're not putting all of that burden as was highlighted by Port Moody and other reports. Those are three really important things that came out of that council workshop that we didn't feel were fully explained out or had an opportunity to. So since it was on your agenda, I wanted to ensure that that was clarified. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to provide any comments at public question period? If you just start off with your name and address, please.
Okay. Hello, I'm Juan Gaviria from 3295 Sunnyside Road, number 34. I moved here in Anmore in 2022 in June, and I'm currently renting at the... Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm currently renting, and I just wanted to show my support for the Anmore Southlands. As soon as I came here, I started looking around to see what I could afford, and really I feel like I'm completely priced out, and I think this city is so nice that should have some diversity and different types of housing for different families or people that want to have the elderly close by. So I just wanted to see and show my support for the OCP amendment and advise that you guys proceed with it.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other public comments before we move on?
Good evening.
Please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, my name is Navid Salehi. I live in 3295 Sunnyside Road, Countryside Village, Unit 16. I started living here 2 years ago, and I built my house. We moved here, we younger
Can I
family.
just, could you put these up? We can't hear from up here now. Yeah,
Yeah, put them all up.
Is it good now?
yeah.
Be like our-
Sorry, we're trying
It's
to
okay,
work
no
out.
problem. It's the first.
That's better. You have a very soft voice.
Okay,
so
it's good
that's
now.
good. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm raising a young family, and then we moved here. We realized the younger families don't live that much in Anmore because of the price of the houses, and especially about the project Anmore South. What I realized is most interesting is there's a diversity in the types of homes going to be built, as well as the commercials. I saw the stores, cafes, restaurants. But we feel it would be amazing if we can have it in Anmore. And thinking about the next generation, my kids growing up here, they can afford a house here. And also the consultants that have been involved in this project. We had some presentations by the developer. I was excited by the amount of consultants being involved to do a very, very sustainable project. It made it really interesting, and we would like to see the next stage of it and what it's going to look like.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you for coming up. Any other comments? Okay, we'll move on now. We have a delegation, something I look forward to on a yearly basis, the Real Acts of Caring, School District 43. Stephen Balnave and students from Eagle Mountain Middle School are present regarding Real Acts of Caring. Come on up and welcome.
Hello, Mayor John McEwen and City and Village Council members. We are delighted to present to you this evening. First, we can introduce ourselves. My name is Brayden, and I'm a third-year student at SFU.
And the rest of us are Amelia, Addison, Rowan, and Charlotte. We are all grade 6, 7, 8 students who attend Eagle Mountain Middle School.
RAC is doing something caring and kind for another and not expecting anything back.
This year, Real Acts of Caring Week is February 11th to 17th, 2024, and our big focus is supporting mental health.
You might ask, how exactly does RAC support mental health?
What kinds of RAC ideas are there which support and promote positive mental health?
These are great questions. Let us explain how RAC can really support mental health.
Let's start by reminding everyone that being caring and kind feels good. Research studies have shown that and determined that such acts are linked to increased feelings of well-being and reduced anxiety.
Studies have shown that encouraging caring and kindness supports mental health by building self-esteem, decreasing depression, growing creativity, and improving cognitive function.
Being caring and kind to others also can improve our social networks. This in turn can increase our confidence.
RAC provides leadership opportunities such as public speaking, like we are right now. Imagine our presenting skills once we are adults.
Studies also have shown that we feel happier and experience a greater sense of belonging when we participate in kind and caring acts.
There is also developing research that suggests when we are kind to others, this can actually promote changes in our brains that are linked with feelings or self-worth and joy.
RAC reduces bullying behavior, and practicing caring and kindness is a critical part of any bullying prevention program.
When RAC students meet with former Educator Minister Rob Fleming, he agreed about how caring and kindness really ought to be part of a bullying prevention program. Now, the RAC website is listed as a resource for the Bullying Prevention BC Erase website in the Erase Bullying Embrace Kindness section.
RAC can also improve a school culture of learning. Educators who take time out of their busy days to teach students how to be caring and kind can cultivate empathy and deeper relationships and allow a culture of learning to thrive.
Okay, great. I'd love to get more involved. Where can I find more information?
There are so many ideas which you can check out at relatesocaring.org. But here are some.
Say hello in a meaningful way to someone and ask them how they are. Then really listen. Sit with someone new at lunch. Give someone your full attention. Thank a school employee.
Leave an encouraging note on someone's desk or locker. Say please and thank you. Point out when someone's shoe is untied or their backpack zipper is open in a kind way.
Say hello to a classmate you don't normally talk to. Say something nice about someone just because. Speak up for someone that others aren't being kind to at school.
Write a note to a distant relative and send it in the mail. Keep a journal and write a happy thought in it every night before bed. Count to 10 in your head to avoid yelling at someone when you get angry. Give those people you care about a hug right now.
You can get updated about what is happening with RAC on Twitter or X, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also check out our RAC website at realactsofcaring.org or just Google Real Acts of Caring and lots of information will come up about RAC.
We are asking you to pass a proclamation to recognize RAC Week, February 11th to 17th, 2024.
Thank you for your support in promoting RAC. And we have a little RAC for you folks. We have sugar cookies.
I just want to say thank you so much for letting us present again this year. I've been involved for RAC for almost 15 years now, which is probably longer than all of these girls have been alive. So I'm really proud, and I just want to thank you for giving these girls the great opportunity to present. We're also wondering if it's possible to advertise RAC Week at the entrance billboards in Anmore this year for February 11th to 17th, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, and I think I've been on council for all 15 of those years when Harriet started this and came forward. It's been amazing, something I look forward to each year. So thank you all for having the brave to get up to the microphone and come and do your presentation. You did an amazing job, so I just want to thank you all. So, and yeah, if we can, we'll get a picture with the members of council that are here, and
Kim in the background.
we'll get Kim in the background then. Yeah.
Should we go in front?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Having some proud parents come up to take pictures. Thank you so much.
Paul even wore the right color shirt.
Say cheese, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have to have pink. Awesome, thank you. Your Worship, I have a potential resolution if you'd like to respond to that.
Sorry,
I have a potential resolution if you'd like to respond to that.
please. Yeah.
Okay, so that February 11th, 17th, 2024 be proclaimed as Real Acts of Caring Week and that the village promote Real Acts of Caring Week on the community board.
Could I get someone to move that?
So moved.
Seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Okay, we'll get moving on to the rest of the agenda. We have the adoption of the minutes of the regular council meeting held on December 5th. Could I get someone to move the minutes? Moved, seconded. Open up for discussion. See none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Is there any business arising from the minutes? No? Okay. We have a consent agenda. Anybody want to pull anything from the consent agenda?
Item C,
Item C, okay.
please.
Anything, Councillor Trowbridge? Councillor Weber? No?
No.
Okay, well,
No,
let's
that's
move.
fine.
Okay, let's move the consent agenda A and B. Could I get someone to move that? Move.
So moved.
Seconded? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to status update RC resolutions. So could I get someone to move the recommendation?
So moved.
Seconded? Seconded? Open up for discussion. Councillor Richardson.
So this is more a question of what complete actually means. So for example, 03323, which was the letter to the province. Did we actually send a letter to the province? And if we sent a letter, did we get anything back? Like I said, it's complete, but complete could be just that we instruct staff to do something. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to do it.
What page is that on?
That's on 17. 17. And
Thank you.
likewise, just similarly, likewise on page 31, 13523, it says that staff bring forward a community engagement strategy in relation to the OCP amendment. It's listed as complete, but we haven't seen it. So I don't know what complete means.
Thank you. Through the chair. So in terms of the first item, the letter to Premier Eby, I do believe, I would have to double check on that. I do believe it was sent. I can get a copy for you. I don't have it readily, but I did not receive, staff did not receive any response back to that letter, other than I may recall that it was just a thank you for receipt response, but we can certainly check into that and circle back with that. And I'm sorry, the other item that you were referring to was?
Page 31, 13523, the point was complete. It says that staff bring forward a community engagement strategy in relation to the OCP, and it's listed as complete, but I haven't seen a strategy.
Right, so through the chair, the bylaw was referred, but you are correct that the community engagement strategy has not been back to staff, so that status on that should be ongoing. And
Ms. Auerk, I just want to note that on the following page, it does say in bold letters that staff bring forward a community engagement strategy in relation to the OCP amendment, and it doesn't have a status beside it.
correct, yes, that's what I'm saying. That should be
Oh.
ongoing because that
Okay,
is not
okay.
yet complete. Whereas the first item, the first reading and the referral to the committee of the whole, so that was just probably an oversight and carry forward on that page.
Okay, just continuing on that, every time there's more than one item in a box, there's only one status per box. It's not per item within the box. So I'm okay with, each item in a box having status, and I'm okay with each item in the box all under one status, but it should be clear since it's what claiming we've done. That's all. It's not a big deal.
Thank you. So I would say through the chair that typically it would be inclusive of all the items if it's complete or ongoing. And then in this case, yes, we should have separated it out, and we'll make sure that we look for that in the future.
Good. Okay. With that clarity, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to legislative reports. We have 9A 3060 Anmore Creekway zoning amendment bylaw number 668-2023. This was just for final adoption. We've given it first three readings. So with that, I'll get someone to move the recommendation.
So moved.
Seconded? Seconded? Any discussion? See none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to 9B, flag policy. Report dated January 19th, 2024 from our Manager of Corporate Services. Michelle.
Thank you, Your Worship. Along with this beautiful new building, we have a new flag pole to go along with it. And so Along with that, we require a policy to determine how the flag should be flown and half-masted. So the policy is attached for your review.
Could I get someone to move the recommendation?
So moved.
Seconded? I'll open up for discussion. Any discussion? Let's see. Councillor Richardson.
I read the policy. It seems to be in line with what goes on in the country. I don't know if there's ever flag battles, but, and there's a bunch of flags mentioned which I have never ever seen. So if those come up, I'd love to see them.
Good. Okay.
I'll just make.
Oh, Councillor Weber.
Yeah, similar comments. I mean, I like the, I guess it's XIII, any other occasion in consultation between the mayor, CAO, and corporate officer. You never know. There may be some member of the community that comes up that deserves special recognition. So I think it's a good policy.
Good, good. See no further comments. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to new business, Sassamat Volunteer Fire Department. Recommendation would be that council appoint Councillor Trowbridge and Councillor Weberink as trustees to the Sassamat Volunteer Fire Department Board of 2024. Could I get someone to oh, sorry.
Oh.
I think you would want to include yourself as well in that appointment.
Oh, and myself, Mayor John McEwen to the trustee and Sassamat Volunteer Fire Department Board for 2024. Could I get someone to move that? Moved. Seconded? Seconded. Any discussion? See none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. And then we have the parcel tax review panel. I'm going to pass that over to Ms. Elrick, I believe. That's regarding the Anmore Green Estates.
Thank you. Yes, through the chair, that is just the parcel tax review for the Anmore Green Estates. And the review panel typically needs to meet once a year, but only if there is a new parcel tax, which this year there will not be, so it's likely that the panel will not need to meet this year. They will just need to authenticate the, Ms. Martin has her hand up, they will just need to authenticate the role.
Thank you, Ms. Elrick. There'll only be a sit-down of the panel if there is a complaint against the current status. We don't have any new roles to discuss.
Could you refresh my memory as to who was on the panel previously?
I believe it was Councillor Richardson, Councillor Weberink, and perhaps Councillor Trowbridge or Cryer.
Does that sound right? I don't.
Sounds like it. My recollection, I actually read it earlier today. It was either Cryer or Trowbridge, and it was a nothing job last year.
Yeah.
So happy to volunteer for it again.
Good.
I have to note that Councillor Richardson worked very hard on the committee.
Good. Okay. With that being said, then I guess we'll just keep it as status quo, and we'll move the continuation of the previous appointments. Could I get someone to move that? Moved. Seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Now we have items for the Committee of Whole Committee, Anmore South OCP Amendment Bylaw number 686-2023. At the January 9th, 2024 Committee of the Whole meeting, the following recommendation was made from the committee, that the committee recommend to council that staff be directed to provide a summary report on the Committee of the Whole meeting held January 9th, 2024. That was carried unanimously at a committee. Committees can only give direction or put suggestions forward to council, so we're just officializing it right now in regards to council. So could I get someone to move that motion?
So moved.
Seconded? Any discussion? See none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Okay. Now we'll move on to the mayor's report. Just got a few things I just wanted to say. I just wanted to give a big shout out to our Public Works Department. What an amazing job they did with record snowfall. Absolutely amazing. You know, as I toured around through the other communities, I had to go and run some errands. You know, we set the bar in regards to snow removal. I don't care what Mayor West and POCO says, we actually do a very, very good job here. And the crews did fabulous working throughout the night, keeping us all moving around, because if we can't get our roads clear, we don't have any forms of transit. So I just wanted to, huge accolades to some of them. And I know some of them were new to the snow plowing and were being trained on it, and they did an absolutely marvelous job. So please pass along. Our snow removal in the village has always been, we set the bar, and I think they really lived up to it during that snow thing. It's remarkably, next year when we have our dump truck, we're going to be able to even provide a next level service. I was talking to a few of them in regards to the plowing and also the brining, to be able to get involved in brining. I know it was all over the news. All the municipalities are heavily invested in the brining, and what a big advantage it takes getting ahead of the storms. But having that bigger truck will be able to clear way more snow on our main arteries, because when the snow was coming down pretty hard, they said they had a tough time keeping up. So amazing job. I'd also wanted to let you know, on the 16th, this past Tuesday, we had an APC committee meeting, similar to our committee meeting of the whole, regarding carriage houses and suites. It was the first meeting of the APC. Incredible good discussion. And again, these meetings are open to the public. Great discussion about size of carriage houses, suites, the combination of the two, challenges that we've encountered over the years with them. So really good conversation. The APC said that it was so technical, and they wanted to come back, and so I think they're scheduling another meeting regarding the same topic in that. On the 30th of this month, so week today, we have our first finance meeting. That'll be to start work on the upcoming budget for the village. Looking forward to that. Again, another public meeting. Please come. And then in the coming months, I'm going to be setting up a meeting with some of the community groups, or all the community groups, and how they would like to see the community space downstairs set up. And then we can start working on a budget in regards to how it will be developed and implemented over time. But we've got an amazing room. Hopefully most everybody here went through the tour in that, but the room is unfinished. We had to keep it that way for budget constraints, but it does need some money to be spent on it. But it's an exciting space, and we need to utilize it to the best of our abilities. So that's all I have for Mayor's report. I'll move on to Councillor's report. Councillor Wevering.
Yeah, I just want to comment on this facility. How happy I am as a councillor to see this facility actually get built. This was a really big decision, and it was a lot of money spent. But I'm proud of staff, and I'm proud of our council for delivering this. I think this building is going to serve us well into the next 40, 50 years. It's great having a meeting here. I met with staff the other day. We had a great meeting in a beautiful boardroom. We had our committee of the whole meeting here. We had plenty of room for everybody. And I hope people really embrace this facility. I mean, we've all paid for it. I think we got very fortunate on the grants. And as I've said before, I think we got amazing value for the money we spent. So, and you know, the opening, I think, proved that. There was a lot of positive comments. I think people really were impressed. So please embrace it. Hopefully there's going to be some programming coming. If you have any ideas for programming, bring it to council, bring it to staff. You know, this is our community gathering space. So I encourage you to get involved. That's it.
Thank you. Councillor Richardson.
Okay, so I'm going to echo once again snow clearing, and I'll notice that the Kubota was back in service this year. And I mention that specifically because I observed them going around, and that wall of hard snow that gets put up at the base of your driveway, they were using that to remove it. So thank you for that. I'll also echo that the Finance Committee meeting is January 30th at 6 p.m. If you want to understand what's going on with the budget, that's the meeting to come to. There's often very little discussion at council. At the APC, I was hoping that Chris Boyd would be here. He mentioned that he attended a seminar with the province on their housing legislation coming down. Is that presentation or discussion available either to council or the public? That would be a very useful thing to have.
Through the chair, I'll have to check in on that. I've also been attending the sessions along with Mr. Boyd, and I will look on the provincial website and see if they're providing links. There certainly are discussion papers and guidebooks and the like, so I can certainly provide the link to that and perhaps post it onto the website for those community members that are interested.
Okay, and then the committee of the whole with Placemark was interesting. I also found it very interesting that Greg Moore stood up and made a bunch of clarifications. My overall notes of that meeting was that Placemark was ill-prepared to answer questions. And any clarification that was made by Greg Moore just now was asked for clarification at the committee of the whole meeting. So overall, I was quite disappointed, and I hope it gets better moving forward. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, I ended up standing at the intersection of Thompson and East Road one morning as I was waiting for a ride. I was stunned that no cars even slowed down at the stop sign. So I don't know if we need some police presence. Like, I know the police are there sometimes, so I always slow. I may roll through, but I slow down. And the cars were actually looking like they were gunning it to get to the stop sign. And I actually thought that was quite dangerous. So any of the people that have complained about traffic on East Road speeding along, I saw it firsthand and I was concerned. And my last thing, which is probably going to be a bit controversial, I was contacted by a resident who received a letter from Anmore's lawyer. And to me, it's a public letter.
It's a legal issue.
The letter is false.
It's a legal issue.
It says that council approves, and council did not approve or see it.
I'm going to have to shut you down then. Ms. Elrick, do you want to refer to it?
I can't comment publicly on any legal issues.
Yeah, we cannot comment on legal issues. Sorry.
Okay, so I won't ask a legal question. I'll ask a different question. Are we currently paying our lawyers to monitor social media sites?
No, we are not.
Okay, good. Councillor Trowbridge, do you have anything? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. I hate to sound like a broken record, but I want to talk about snow as well. Can you hear me, first of all?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I think, don't quote me on the date, but I think it was January 11th. And we had that snowfall that happened in a span of about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And I just wanted to compliment our works crew as well for dealing with that. It was a little disheartening to me. There was a resident who made a comment to me as I was towing a disabled car out of the snow and up the hill that the works group should have been out plowing hours before. But unfortunately, it was a 2-hour snowfall, so that hours before they would have been plowing bare pavement. They also mentioned that we should be preemptive. And of course, the night before, I saw them go by and lay salt. 6 o'clock that morning, they laid salt. Unfortunately, we don't have brining yet, which would have melted the substrate, unlike salt. So I'm hoping that we get moving with the brine thing and try to ward off that kind of slippery situation if possible.
Are you done, Councillor Trowbridge?
Oh yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Sorry, thank you. Okay, we've got Chief Administrator Officer's report. Ms. Elrick.
Thank you. I'm going to continue along the snow removal theme this evening and echo Mayor McEwen's comments and others related to our outstanding public works crew. But I also would like to pass along on behalf of the village and on behalf of our public works crew who noticed many residents out and about during the snow and ice events that were helping out neighbors, that were clearing areas along their street, along their sidewalks, and it is much appreciated by the public works, and very nice to see people out and about helping out their neighbors as well. So thank you for that.
Good. Okay, we've got a few information items, some committee, commissions, and boards minutes. Some general correspondence from the City of Victoria, Fort St. John, email from Girl Guides of Canada. All those are included in the agenda. I'll open up for public question period. Public has permitted questions of council regarding and pertaining to village business. 2-minute time limit, please, to speakers. Anybody want to say anything? It should be blue.
Oh, it is blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can just make sure you get close to the microphone so everybody can hear you.
Thank you. I just want to follow up on what Councillor Richardson was asking.
We will not be speaking about anything legal here.
Well, may I ask some other questions?
Yep.
Isn't that true, or do I not sort of recall that the mayor at a council meeting said that he doesn't follow social media because the mayor indicated at the time that none of it is really true? Is this still the case?
I can't hear what he's saying, sorry.
Well, I remember it. It's probably on record somewhere. If none of it is true, then why use means against an individual who apparently, according to your understanding,
I don't know what you're talking
okay.
about again. So
obviously.
Could you get to
well,
the
let me ask a few other
business,
questions. Is it possible that residents are kept, residents of Anmore, that is, are kept out of the know given, for example, an absence of streaming and public questions at the recent Committee of the Whole? Do you think?
No.
You don't think people are out of the know? Do you not see possibly that this is village over control, that you're actually keeping people in the dark?
Do you have a do you have a question pertaining
Yes,
to
I do.
village business, please?
Well, okay, I'll ask a specific question for you.
To village business, please.
A specific question.
For village business.
For village business,
Okay,
yes.
please go ahead.
Why does Richard Stewart, mayor of Coquitlam, population of 140,000, answer public questions, some of them quite disagreeable? One of them called him a cripple. He answers questions on his own Facebook when the mayor of Anmore doesn't allow public questions at public meetings.
Okay, I will just answer that. I'm not on Facebook, sorry. So thank you. Could we get somebody else up to ask some questions of village business? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public questions? Okay.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear?
Yep.
Nancy Maloney, 1724 East Road. And I have a couple of questions. So I'm curious, where should it be discussed if there's concern about a resident being threatened, possibly inappropriately?
I don't know what you're talking about. If it's about a legal thing, we cannot discuss that here.
No,
So
I'm asking where it should. I know you have said that. Where is it to be discussed?
Ms. Elroy.
Thank you. Through the chair, again, I would echo Mayor McEwen, not knowing what specific threat that you're speaking of, but if you're feeling threatened by the village or by the organization, there certainly you could reach out to the ombudsperson, or anybody concerned with that could reach out to the ombudsperson office. That would be my recommendation of where to start.
Okay, so one needs to go outside the village.
Or send us an email.
Certainly, if there is something of concern, I'm always available. Certainly, reach out to me by email or phone call or pop into the village hall. But if it's something that you're specifically concerned related to the organization, then the ombudsperson would be the best person for you to reach out to.
Okay, a couple more. So to make a complaint with the provincial ombudsman would be the correct thing to do?
If you feel that it cannot be resolved at the village level,
Uh-huh.
I would encourage that step first. But if it's something that you feel cannot be resolved at the village level, then that option is available.
You had a question for village
Yeah,
business?
but related to Councillor Richardson
We're
being...
not discussing
No,
that, I'm
okay,
sorry.
but where, as a member of the public, where should Councillor Richardson bring his concerns?
He can take it to our CAO. Yeah, okay.
Or to the Ombudsman, the same?
Well, again, I would encourage any members of the public or members of council who have any questions related to village operations or business to certainly contact me.
Good.
Okay, a couple more questions here. Well, for sure the hub has many highly desirable qualities, but a couple problematic concerns, one of which we are all experiencing this evening, which is the acoustics in this room. And so I would wonder what is being done to make it.
I think it's a bit of a work in progress, and again, I think it was a bit of a budgetary constraint in regards to some of the baffling that may need to come at a future date, but we're going to have to get back to you on that. It is a work in progress. This is our first regular council meeting.
Okay, so council recognizes that the acoustics are somewhat of an issue in this room.
I had a challenge listening to the previous person asking questions initially, yeah.
Like, for example, it was very difficult to hear the children when they were doing their presentation. Okay. And the other problem is the very, very limited, which was a major problem during the committee of the whole, the limited parking. And I know there was an intention also to rent this facility out for private functions. So what is going to be done about parking is my question.
We're going to be, there's going to be a whole site development that's going to happen, so. Okay.
You mean a parking lot?
The site will get developed in a way, there's going to be some plans that are going to come forward, so.
Okay, in the near future?
I'm hoping.
Okay, very good. And one more question. Does the flag policy, but this was not specifically mentioned, does it provide for the use of commemorative flags as is done in other municipalities and even at our federal government parliament building? Like not just the flags that are mentioned in our current policy, but things such as, you know, during Pride Month or Pride Week, that such flags are flown. Like, does our flag policy permit the use of such commemorative flags? And if it doesn't, should the flag policy be modified so that, similar to other municipalities and the federal government, that it's possible for council to authorize the use of commemorative flags?
Michelle, I think it's pretty vague. It does give those options availability, does it not?
There's no mention of commemorative.
Let me just let her finish,
okay.
Please.
Yeah, through the chair, there's no mention of those, and right now we wouldn't have a plan for it. We have limited capacity with staff, and we do only have one flagpole. So if council wished for us to do those kind of things, we would need a resolution to amend the policy.
Okay, well, we just passed the policy now. It's brand new, so let's see how it evolves in that. And if you do have something about, and that, please forward to us via email with some suggestions. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Is there, hold on, is there anybody else that wants to, okay, do you have one more question? Yeah. Okay.
This is a road safety question. I frequently travel up East Road from basically what my current concern is from Lanson Crescent up to where, if you recall, where the McCurries used to live. It's a steep but narrow road, and when it's dark and there's headlights coming down the road towards me as I go up, I'm blinded, and I have inevitably I have to stop or slow down considerably to let the car pass because I can't see the center lane and I can't see the curb on the right. So I'm asking actually if the village would consider putting some more of those reflective dividers along the center lane so you can actually see where the center is, because I'm repeatedly blinded by bright lights, and I just think something could happen, not with me necessarily, but others in the future. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. See no further question. Motion to adjourn. Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you everyone for coming out. on this stormy night.